first I'm going to show you how to create a slip knot in order to start chaining. I've got my yarn and my hook. You're going to take your yarn, I hold it with my thumb and my middle finger, and I wrap it across the front of my index. Go around the back and then the front. So you have that X right there. I then tend to hold the middle of the X with my thumb and I slip that loop off my finger. We're then going to take the yarn continuing and we're going to go under that loop. We're going to hold the tail and we're going to pull that loop through, and there's our slip knot. And this is how we create a chain. We're going to yarn over. Sometimes I'll use my fingers to hold on to the beginning of the project till it starts building. Yarn over, pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop. Now that is how you chain. I'm going to do a total of 5 chains. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is how you chain. Now the first stitch I'm going to create is the single crochet. When you're starting a project, after you do your foundation chain, every new row you start, when you go to turn that project, you're going to chain 1 when it comes to a single crochet so that it makes your edges even. So we're going to chain 1, but our foundation chain is 5 and we want to have 5 stitches. So what we're going to do is we're skipping that chain we just created and going into that second one. For a single crochet, you're going to go through that loop. You're going to take your yarn over the hook, pull it through that loop. Now you've got 2 loops. Yarn over again, pull through the 2 loops. Now that is the first single crochet. Go through the stitch, pull the yarn through. You've got 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through the 2 loops. Through the stitch, yarn through, yarn over, pull it through the 2. And that is how you do a single crochet. And don't forget, for starting a new row, you're going to chain 1, flip your project. Now we're going to go through the back of the stitches. Through that first stitch right there, because we're skipping that chain 1, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. Now your foundation chain started with 5. You did 5 stitches on this row, and you're going to want a total of 5 on this one. The last one may be hard to find, but make sure you're always recounting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is how you do a single crochet. And now we're going to do a double crochet. I have my foundation chain of 5 in order to start the first row. We're going to chain 2. So 1, 2. We chain 2 each turning new row so that it'll have even edges. Now to double crochet, you're going to go ahead and yarn over before going through any stitch. Because of that chain 2, we're going to skip those 2 chains. So 1, 2, going into the third one right here. We're going to go into it, yarn over, pull that yarn through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through only the first 2. So 1, 2, and pull up. So you only went through the first two and you've got that last loop, and now you've got your current loop, so you've got 2 loops. We're going to yarn over one more time and pull through both of those 2 loops. So that is our first double crochet. Because we started with a chain of 5, we want to make sure we have 5 double crochets going across. So we're going to do it again, yarn over, go through the loop, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, through the first 2, now you've got 2 left, yarn over, through the last 2, yarn over, go through, pull up, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, you've got 2 left on your hook, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that is what your double crochet should look like. And now I will show you how we would start a new row of double crochet. This is my 4th and then my 5th. Make sure you're always going back and recounting if you're a beginner, just so that you know you're doing the right number of stitches. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what we're going to do again is the chain 2. 1, 2. Now we are going to turn the project. We're now going to be working through the back of the stitches. We're going to yarn through. We're skipping that chain 2. It's kind of twisted, but you'll be able to find your first stitch right here. Sometimes you can look at it from the top and you can see where those V's are. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with our yarn over, we're going to find that first stitch, go through, pull through. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and continue double crocheting. Make sure you're counting your stitches as you go. You're going to want to end with 5 if you did a foundation chain of 5, or however long your foundation chain is. So I've got 3, 4, 5. The last one might be hard to find, but just search for it and recount. Make sure you've got all your stitches. As it stretches out, the edges will be even. And that is how you do a double crochet. I have a chain 5, and now we're going to half double crochet, similar to the double crochet but a little shorter. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains right here. We're going to chain 1. That's for creating our new row. Every time we create a new row, we're going to chain 1. Now this is a little bit like a double crochet. We're going to yarn over before we go through the stitch. We're going to be skipping that chain 1, and we're going to be going into that second stitch right here. We're going to go through that stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through. We now have 3 loops on our hook. What we're going to do is yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3. And that is a half double crochet. Shorter than a double crochet, but I'd consider it thicker than a single crochet. Definitely good for coverage. To do it, yarn over, go through your next stitch, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now in our 4th stitch, now into our 5th stitch, and this is how we're going to create a new row. We have our 5 half double crochets right here. We're going to chain 1, turn the project. Now we're going to be working back along the back of the stitches. You can see through the top right here, the V's, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 may be hard to find, but just go searching and make sure you're always recounting back on your stitches. We're going to yarn over, go through the first stitch, pull through, you got 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, yarn over, go through stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Make sure you go searching for that last stitch and pull through the last one. Now we've got 5, or I've got 5 half double crochets along with my first row from my foundation chain. So we got a total of 5. And this is what the half double crochet looks like. I have my chain of 5. We're now going to be doing what's called a triple or a treble crochet. I always call it a triple because it's kind of like a double but a little bigger, and it helps me remember the chain between starting every new row. Now to start the first row of your triple or your treble, you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. That's going to make the edges of your project even. Now to start the stitch, we're going to yarn over the hook and we're going to yarn over again. So you yarn over twice. For the first stitch, we're going to skip those first 3 because that's just the edge of our project. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into this 4th hook right here, and we're going to yarn through and yarn over and pull the yarn through. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull through only the first 2. So 1, 2. Now you've got 3. Yarn over again, pull through the first 2. 1, 2. Pull up, now you've got 2 left. We're going to yarn over again and pull through those 2. So 1, 2. So basically you're pulling through 2 loops 3 times. That's why I like calling it a triple. So to do it again, yarn over once, twice. So we've got 3 loops, go into the next stitch, pull the yarn through, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, you've got 3, yarn over, pull through the next 2, now you've got 2 left, yarn over, and pull through those last 2. So we've got 2 triples right there. And we want a total, or I want a total of 5 because that's my foundation chain. So yarn over twice, go through the stitch, pull yarn up, you've got 4, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going through my last stitch. Make sure you're always recounting in the beginning to make sure you've got the right amount of stitches that you need. So I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The chain 3 doesn't count as anything because that's just going to even out our rows as we build up. Now to start the new row, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn the project. We're now going to be working through the back of the stitches. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now going to yarn over once, twice, so 2 times. We're going to find our first stitch, go through, pull the yarn through, got 4 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, next 2, yarn over, next 2. yarn over twice, go through your next stitch, yarn up, so you've got 4, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm now ending my last stitch. I started with a foundation chain of 5. My first row had 5 stitches and my second row should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. And this is what your triple / treble will look like. I have my foundation chain of 5. We're now going to be doing slip stitching. What I like to do for my slip stitching is I'll chain 1, but I only want my row to contain 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip that chain 1 we created and we're going right in to the second one. We're going to yarn over and pull through. And what we're going to do is we're pulling through the initial loop. So that is what it will look like. It's as if we're chaining back onto our chain. It's good for making straps or anything that you need really thin. So we're going to go through the stitch, yarn through, pull up, pull through the initial loop. So we're always pulling through that single loop on our hook. Go through stitch, yarn over, pull through loop. Go through stitch, yarn over, pull through loop. And that is how you create slip stitches.